schools back in, after chief, it would be possible for when the schools are like now, especially the junior high schools, that if LAPD officers could go by the schools and not just probably get out of the cars, but the kids could have access to them. When they come and talk to them, reason being because at home they already had every police. So we got something to balance it out, get to the young ones, talking to the young kids. Is that a policy to be implemented?
Yes. I'll let Dennis talk about that, some of the things he does with schools.
I have 3 juvenile cars that I let out time to go to the 477, the Taurus Man, Fremont High School, and then we go up to Manuart. It's Manuart, middle school. John Muir, I'm sorry, I just drew a blank. They go there at let out time. But on the other hand, I agree with you. When I talk about maturing my officers and getting them engaged in the community, I have a program that goes to 5 elementary schools. The officers are on campus. They do a poetry class. They do a positive rap artist comes in and sings to the kids, and it's just a good chance for these young kids to meet officers in a positive light. And I've gotten a lot of good positive feedback. We've been at Normandale Elementary School, go to Raymond Avenue Elementary School. We hit all the elementary schools on a rotational basis. Every principal loves this program, and it gets my officers, like you said, into that process. I just met with Obama Middle School's principal last week, because one of the problem areas I have is Obama Middle School at let out time. And just so you know, officers are going to be there. We have a mediation program where 10 teachers are being taught mediation, 10 officers, and 10 students. And then I also got intervention involved, be a mediation crew that can go on campus and mediate a lot of turmoil that goes on that campus. So there's a lot of positive things that are coming out of that. And anytime I could put my officers in a non-traditional police role in the community, I'm going to take that advantage of that.
We want to thank you for that, sir.
Yeah.
I didn't know that's Captain, but we have like 15 people, we have 14 minutes, so please make sure that your question is geared toward the restoration of the relationship of LAPD in the community in lieu of what happened on 53rd or any officer-involved shooting, for that matter. Trying to read the right, I believe, Sister Hannah.
I had a couple of very important questions I wasn't expecting to ask them soon. But I want to start by clarifying, our objective is to stop the shooting in the street. We want our young people to shun that conduct. We do not want them armed walking around as a danger to you, much less a danger to any one of us, our community, or families. So we want to be real clear that that is the primary function of this body. We don't want anybody mistaken that, okay? But along the way, things like the Pt.6.MOD come up, we have to engage you. As we stand and thank you for Captain Casimir and James Killen, now we have to ask you about what happened on 53rd. So those are the things that are regrettable. But the community is concerned, one, about the new trainers, the new trainees coming into the community, new to South Central, maybe new to the city. They have no experience with us as a people. They have little sensitivity to our challenges, and we're getting this from this disconnected relationship. So there are 2 things we're interested in. We'd like to see some African-American leadership in South Bureau in a very positive way that has some community-minded spirit behind their appointment. The second thing is that people believe that some of our membership should be included within the welcoming training sessions with new officers coming in the South Bureau. The third recommendation, which is a question, has to do with subduing mentally challenged or people that are under the influence of alcohol, drunks, things like that. Now last time we spoke, we were proposing tasers, pepper spray, anything but lethal force. What we're trying to ask about drunks and mental impairment, is there pre-preparation for that, and is there possibilities of tranquilizer use rather than lethal force? Is that something that's possible?
Anyone now?
Yes, sir.
As far as the mental health piece goes, Sister, we have a tremendous training piece as far as our mental health piece goes. We've been criticized in the past for not reacting appropriately on mental health issues. We have an entire mental evaluation unit that is stacked with professionals, both clinical and sworn officers that work. We try to keep in the field at least 3 to 4 teams throughout the city each night, working with a clinician, a mental health clinician, and an officer in a car to help respond to calls that involve mentally ill individuals, to help work their way through it and give officers additional tools to help them work through that. Any one of our SWAT call-outs include the mental health professionals that come with that to help with negotiations and to work through any of those issues. We tend to get into problems when there's a dynamic situation that involves somebody that's mentally ill. It's very challenging, So I'm sure we can be better at it, but that's what the department has improved over the years on that.
Appreciate it. Guillermo, you're next, sir.
I want to pontificate for a minute. One, an opinion. I think that one of the amazing things for me in the last year is that most of the calls that I get from other cities is wanting LA to communicate with them about the relationship between community intervention and law enforcement that is being perceived by the rest of the country as the model to follow. My comment to them always is, we have a lot of work to do, and yes, it's been tremendous improvement, but we have a lot of work to do. Concrete suggestions is that there should be a policy group that comes out of the ceasefire committee to actually look at policy and make policy recommendations. And there should be a practice group that really looks at what's happening throughout the rest of the city that would constitute to be the best practices in terms of community intervention and law enforcement. I see it, I don't read it in reports. I see it throughout the city, situations that I would call best practices. They include officer-involved shootings, sometimes they've included barricaded suspects. I've seen intervention being used even in cases where SWAT has been out. This whole issue of community intervention and the work with law enforcement, there's a lot more areas that we need to cover. And I think ceasefire is in the right position to kind of get that going. So my suggestion is that figure out a way to develop both a practice group that continues to move the intervention practice forward in terms of how it works with law enforcement, and the other is this policy piece that it's a different kind of work, but it needs to be done. And it seems to me this is a group that could be formed from.
Yes, sir. Well said. Now, we let you pontificate if you say good things about ceasefire. So we appreciate it. Kim, you're next.
Follows up on that comment, maybe it was said last week, so I apologize. If there could be a written protocol for all captains and all chiefs about how to do interventions, I think it's happening in some divisions, but not by any means across the city, and definitely not across the county. Secondly, that I think that there has been, I know I've done this, where I've taken guns from people and then turned them in, so that the buyback kind of protocol would happen one time a year. If there could be, at least for some people, or some organizations, a way to do that 365 days a year, I think that a lot of people would turn the guns in if there was a way to get rid of them, no questions asked, or we could take guns away from people and have, if there's an easy way to get rid of them, no questions asked. It's been hard to get rid of them, I'm going to say that. When I've called officers and wanted to get rid of them, it's been really hard to get rid of them. Three, that if we could, and I know YDC will do this for free, but if we could make legal education available for all young people and anyone who requests it, and make it a lot more available. I know, like, our legal education includes what do you do when officers have their guns drawn. How do you just stand still, tell them where you get your arm, tell them where it's at, don't run, et cetera, et cetera. But I just think the more we can make that available, the more we can prevent this, as well as a brochure for people on what the real issues are around guns. So that if we could create stuff like that, and you guys could get it out there to people, in addition to us getting it out, I think it would help a lot. I don't think most people know that most guns are used, in fact, to kill your own loved ones. When there's alcohol involved, or a fight involved, or domestic violence involved, or little kids find a gun, I think we need to get that information out. way to create a hotline so that, or some kind of 911 system within the police department so that interventionists could be called out more regularly. I think that people that are connected probably use a lot, but there's probably a much broader, again, citywide group of people who've been trained and certified who you guys trust, but there's not a way for them to be quickly mobilized.
Thank you, Ken. Kelly, for me.
Okay. I think CP spoke about the fear that our community members have, and then Kim also spoke about the statistics of officer-involved shootings of young African-American and Latino men that were actually unarmed. So my question is, has LAPD come up with any kind of strategy to target or interact with these young community members that's not in kindergarten or elementary school, that's not in kindergarten or elementary school, to build a trust and or a change in the response of these young men so that they won't run out of fear or because of the past history and interaction with LAPD? Because just real quick, it's like my son is not a gang member. He's 20 years old, he's huge, he's 6 feet, and he is terrified of LAPD, more so than he is of the gang members that are in our neighborhood, and I'm from Watts. And so I want to know what can be done when they're in the daily community and interactions with our community, these young men, these young community members, that hostility or that fear, or if that fear of being targeted is not there. Because that is when he's talking about the fear, to me, that is the reality of the run. Whether they are unarmed, they are in college, or whether they are gang members who have drugs or guns. What is the strategy that's being done with interventionists in order to change the mind frame of LAPD or how their approach to our community members?
Can I do this?